So, through all of this, I finally reached the ferry on the banks of the Cubango River. Now, the Cubango is a major river, and I can't ford it in my vehicle, so I need the ferry, and there is a privately owned one here belonging to Hoffman van Zijl. Now, he informed me that the ferry is under reconstruction, and when I got here, that's exactly what I found. But I decided I'm going to continue anyway to where the ferry is. The thing is, in the middle world, and as you get closer to the edge of the wilderness especially, many things can happen, unforeseen things. A road could be just closed. Another one could be so badly damaged that it's barely drivable, and you crawl along. A bridge could be washed away. The ferry could be under reconstruction. So this is now the state in which I found the ferry, and often in these circumstances, the best thing to do is to just see what you can do to assist to get the situation resolved. And that's what I did as far as I could. I decided to restrict myself to the more technical problems like the ferry motor that wouldn't start and the steering mechanism that was out of order. The guys working on the structural rebuilding seemed to know what they were doing. Not to say that I wouldn't have done it completely differently had I had the same tools and situation, but they were convinced, and I thought best to leave them to it. So let's see how long it'll take us to get this thing in the water and my vehicle across the Cubango. Because on the other side of the Cubango, which is a big enough river to form a kind of a natural barrier to the influences of the middle world, within an hour or so, I will really be, you could say, in the wilderness. But for now, I was still at the edge of the wilderness. And during these slow days of the ferry reconstruction, I had little to do after I'd repaired the motor and the steering mechanism. So I spent time wandering around the area a bit. Now, there was almost no wild animals that I became aware of in the area because of the humans there. But it was very rich in bird life, both nocturnal and diurnal, and I enjoyed the birds. And identifying the different trees in the area. It was, in a way, a good time for me to adjust to being in the wilderness. Now, there are only a few people living in the area. They follow a lifestyle that is very close still to that observed by the first settlers and colonists that came into Africa. It's a lifestyle that is slow and simple compared to modern patterns, but it's a lifestyle that is rich in culture, and they have not only mastered survival here with the meager means they have at their disposal, they have managed to create some very basic forms of comfort for them from their environment. Having contact with these people was in itself calming and revealing of instincts and perspectives on the environment that had long been buried under layers of modern living. It taught me again the satisfaction of living in the moment and finding joy in the simple things around me. Now, I have always been a poor sleeper, and not being able to sleep is never very pleasant, but on safari I enjoy it because I just lie and listen to the African night for long hours. And these days and nights of exposure to the wilderness, alone with my thoughts and surroundings, and so close to the bush because I was living under a tree in this time, helped me to disengage from the modern world. And I began to notice things in the wilderness, sights and sounds and smells, and even sensations on the skin that one would normally be unaware of in the modern world. My eyes were becoming quicker. My hearing was becoming sharper, and more attentive. And my skin was becoming more sensitive to changes in the atmosphere around it. And all of these things helped me tune into the wilderness. And that's why I think there was some good from this period, although frustrating. Here is a bit of a taste of the way these people live. Now, what you see here is two men. They are busy making a drinking trough for their animals. They've cut down a tree. You can see the white trunk of the tree there, and they're busy hollowing it out. And here you can see how far they have hollowed it out already, so that it forms now a drinking trough. The wife of one of them has come along. Now the wife is sitting flat on her bum. I don't know how they do it. They are able, especially the women, to sit like this. I don't think that I would make more than 2 or 3 minutes sitting like that. But she is cracking open manketti nuts. She's pinched an axe underneath her leg, and she's hitting the nuts on the blade to crack them open. And actually, there's just a housing for the nuts on the outside, and inside is the nut itself, or the seed itself, and she takes out those, and then she grounds them into a fine powder using this wooden hammer and hollowed out tree stump. And I think they make kind of a bread or porridge, and also an alcoholic drink out of this fine crushed nut. The axe that she's using is in itself interesting. Here is a picture of the axe. The one on the right has broken the handle, and that's the one that she's using. You can see it's a piece of wood which is shaped, and an iron wedge has been driven into it. They usually use an old car spring. This looks like a piece of a agricultural implement or something that they've hammered into a wedge, and they've sharpened it. And on the left is a complete handle. It has a hole in it already, and it just has to receive the blade, and then it's an axe again. And here is a guy fishing. People along the river, of course, live off the veld, but also from the river, and he's standing in a mohoro. A mohoro is a canoe made out of a hollowed out tree stump. This is what it looks like, a close-up. You can see that it follows the shape of the tree. Tricky to pole these things or row them, because you need to have really good balance, and they're extremely good at it, standing up even and poling it. And he's poled himself in a bit, and now he's got his fishing rod with a piece of gut on it, and he watches the fish in the clear water as they approach his bait, and once they nibble on it, he yanks his rod, and hopefully he hooks a fish. They do actually catch. This is what it looks like. You need to stay upwind from these, but I guess when they're completely dry, they are fine. This is some tilapia and even a barbel or two. And here is a woman grinding sorghum in the hollowed out tree stump with this wooden hammer. This is what it looks like. And once she's done, she sifts it so that she has a very fine, like a meal. And this is then used to make a porridge, or even kind of a bread, and maybe even alcoholic beverages. It's a kind of a sorghum. So this gives you a bit of an idea of how the people here live. Companions, I hope you enjoyed that. Next week, I'll bring you another story about my safari into the southeast of Angola. Good luck until then.